thoughts tonight, and I got look, man. Look, I'm not gonna panic. I got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to say. I'm sure Rabbit got a lot to say over there. I know I got a lot to say, and we're gonna talk about these Ravens. We're gonna talk about these Bears because I'm telling you what, man. Um, I'm a little surprised by the way the season has started, and I ain't had a chance to sit down with y'all just to hang out with y'all for a little bit. So we gonna do that right here tonight, and I gotta look. I got some things that I got to talk about. I'm sure Rabbit got some stuff he want to talk about his new boy Caleb Williams. All right, welcome into
the Bears Ravens podcast.
Flock Nation Speaks
T3P podcast. All the Bears fans know me.
Your Baltimore Ravens,
the Bears
podcast, where we talk about the best team in NFL history.
The Bears.
If you're a Ravens fan, of course.
Passionate Ravens, passionate Bears. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's what we do. You know.
Woohoo! Let's jump right into it, okay? I don't need to waste no time with y'all. I got my boy Rabbit Jones. This is the Flock Down Perspective. Look, man. Look.
Jump into it.
Look. Okay. All right. So the Ravens are 0-2. It's a rough start. For somebody who sat on this camera probably about 2 weeks ago and said they might start 5, 6, 7, 8.
Before you go any further, the percentages of 0-2 for playoffs is what?
It's pretty bad. I don't know the numbers.
It's low? Is it low?
No, it's low. It's low, man. It's okay. But I will say I think it's not impossible. 0-3 is a little bit more difficult, and considering the Ravens have to play the Cowboys this week too. That's a tough matchup. And I mean, I mean, even when we talked about it beforehand, Rabbit, we talked about how difficult that matchup was going to be, especially coming off the first two. You got you start out with the Chiefs, you got the Raiders, who you hope, even if you lose to the Chiefs, a little bounce back and maybe get some momentum going into this game. But the Ravens and momentum are the furthest two things away from each other right now. The Ravens and identity are the furthest two things from each other right now. The Ravens and good head coaching are the furthest two things away from each other right now because
coaching.
It's not good.
Wait.
It's not good, man.
What you just say?
It's not good, man.
You don't like the coaching? Wow.
So, I mean,
his brother. That's funny.
Yeah, look, Jim been doing that thing. Now John over here, he been kind of suspect. Look, so the reason I say that, right? Explain to me why the Ravens in crucial situations only got one timeout. I need to know. When the game is on the line, look, the Ravens don't play the preseason. So I kind of expect the Ravens to come out and be a little bit slow. I really do. I expect them to be a little sluggish. I expect the first 4 games to be sloppy. I expect the first 4 games to not even look good. I expect the first 4 games they still trying to find that offensive identity because they just retooled the offensive line. But from a coaching perspective, why are you challenging things that's obvious that you're not gonna win them and you burning timeouts? Why is your team so undisciplined? Like, yes, there's a part of me that feels like that comes back to execution, but there's another part of me that says if it's all the time, where the discipline at? Where the discipline at from the head coach? What's the head coach saying to these guys to make sure that they're in a big hold on a big play? Now, I ain't, the officiating ain't been great, but I don't want to use that as an excuse either, because the Ravens simply just haven't been good either. Like, I think it's been a variety of things. The defense looks like they miss Mike McDonald right now. The offense looks like they still trying to figure out how do I say this nicely? They still trying to figure out why Odell is in Miami and not in Baltimore, because it just seems like Zay Flowers is the main weapon. It seems like there's no consistent usage of Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews. Y'all talk about Lamar Jackson need to be on a milk carton. I don't have a milk carton with me, but let's just act like this is one. Mark Andrews, I'm looking for him because I can't find him. He been on a milk carton. Now I know he had the accident before the season, and I know, that's a valid concern if he's healthy or if he's not. But if he's not healthy, don't let him play. Don't suit him up if he ain't really healthy like that. Like let Likely do his thing.
But let me ask you this: Is it the defense or offense in your eyes?
To me, I mean, can I say both? Is that a cheating answer? Is that? I mean, the reason, I don't think the Ravens have been excellent in any category. I think the run game has felt like it's been lacking, and that's one of the things that the Ravens have prided themselves on from jump. But I think the run game has not been as good because the offensive line is not nearly as good as it's been in the past. And, that's giving credit to previous offensive lines that I didn't think was great to begin with, but that were band-aided together to make look good. So offensively, I think the offensive line is the biggest problem because everything starts up front. And it's obvious. You can see, Falele ain't it. You can see, that some of these guys, Makari starting at right tackle is not it. You can see that some of these new guys that you got in that you're trying to figure out, like it's still early in the season, you're trying to figure out your offensive line because you replaced 3 out of the 5 guys. You still trying to figure out, okay, which guys is worth being here every single week. So I think the offense is a problem because of the offensive line. I think if the offensive line plays better, everything works. I think Derrick Henry goes off. I think Lamar has more time. I think the receivers can actually get open. I think all that matters due to the offensive line. Defensively, I mean, I think it goes back to they can't get off the field, right? They can't get off the field on third down. I think it's less about, and this is just from what I'm seeing, I ain't looked at any numbers and like that, but from what I'm seeing, it feels like they can't get off the field in crucial situations, which has been a problem for Ravens defenses in the past. Last year, it wasn't really a problem. But I think at the same time, because it's been a problem in the past, it seems to be rearing its ugly head again. And I think, getting off the field is going to be a big thing. I think, honestly, the pass rush has been a lot better. I think I would say both. I mean, shoot, if you want me to go the whole trifecta, Rabbit, I think we can say special teams too, because this punter that we decided to draft 2 years ago has been shooting punts, and that ain't been good either. That's been, what game was it? I want to say it was the Raiders game, last week. That was, it's late in the game. It's a punt that you need. You need a good punt. Like we talking about Sam Cook, probably a Hall of Fame punter, in his time. Now we're talking about Jordan Stout, the guy you drafted. The punt was shanked, and they got the ball at like the 40-yard line. And it's like, if you get the ball at the 40-yard line, that's almost like an automatic score, for your team. So it's just been bad all the way around. And I think a lot of it too, I would love to see the penalty numbers, but I feel like a lot of it too has been lack of discipline. Even your boy, Roquan Smith, been getting bad penalties that don't make no darn sense.
I think you read my mind. I think you knew what I was about to go. I was about to get to his name.
I mean, you got Ronnie Stanley on holds. You got
Quinn was on your team, right?
You said who?
Quinn, linebacker. I think he played for the Steelers now. Wasn't he on your team?
Oh yeah, Patrick Quinn. Yeah.
So I'm thinking. That's why I was about to ask you about Roquan Swift. How you look now without Quinn there, and you know what I'm saying. That's why I'll just figure out, because when he don't have no linebackers on the side of him that's good as him, he's just an average person out there.
I mean, honestly, I feel like him and Trenton Simpson have been a good combination. Trenton Simpson has looked about as advertised. And I think, having Roquan Smith beside him helps Trenton Simpson out. I don't know if Trenton Simpson would be able to do it by himself. I don't think Roquan Smith has played badly. I'm defaulting to a couple of calls in the Kansas City Chiefs game where maybe he should have slowed up. I think he had another one. I think it was another one. It was like a horse collar or something, which is weird because I always thought a horse collar was if you take them down by the horse collar, not if you just grab it. Because and I could be mistaken about that, but then I remember seeing in a game later on that week that the same thing happened, but nothing was called. So it's just, I mean, honestly, I'm always in the Ravens will be fine mood. I'm always the guy who's like, they'll be fine. I felt like they would start off slow. I didn't expect them to start 0-2. At worst, I expect them to be 1-1, right? You expect them to take care of business against the Raiders. But, the Raiders are, at least on the defensive end, a well-coached team. And even though the Ravens were able to turn them over, the offense wasn't able to do anything with it. And that's going to be the thing, is trying to figure out, are the guys you have enough or are they not? And I think play calling matters in that regard too, because I would love to see Rashad Bateman get the football underneath. I would love to see Rashad Bateman get the ball and be able to run a little bit after the catch, as opposed to having him run on these no yak routes. But
real, in the end, Lamar Jackson got MVP numbers. If you look at the stats, right? So, like 273 the first game, 247 the second game. There was no interception, and both of them had touchdowns.
Yeah,
percent rating. So if he was to have 17 games like that, that's an MVP.
Yeah, and that's the problem, Rabbit. That's the problem, is like, once again, is come to a point where the offensive line isn't good, the run game isn't clicking like it should be, the receivers don't seem like they're getting open. I don't know. I think I'm gonna blame that more on the offensive line than I am the receivers this time. But it's like, I feel like sometimes the Ravens' game plan is let Lamar do his magic and everybody else is secondary. And I think to have a quarterback like Lamar, to be as special as he is in terms of moving around and making the throws, making people miss in space, whatever it is, for him to have that ability, I think is huge. But I think sometimes the problem is they rely too much on that. And once again, that goes back on coaching. Lamar should not have to be Superman every single possession for you to feel like you can make it out of a hole. That's why you draft all of these receivers. That's why you grab Derrick Henry in free agency. That's why you were supposedly retooling the offensive line, right? A lot of these things that become coaching problems and become GM problems, those are things that are issues, because I feel like Lamar is playing well, but it ain't but so many times that Lamar can just bring you out of a situation. Lamar played a little bit of hero ball, I felt like in Kansas City, and it almost worked out. They literally, you sitting there looking at that game, you lose that game by a toe in the back of the end zone, right? Maybe a little miscommunication with Zay and Lamar, and there's been a couple miscommunication type things going on with the Ravens, and that goes back to preseason too. But I think as the season goes on, they'll get better. I think week 3, I think they'll look a lot better in week 3. They usually play pretty well against the Cowboys, so I think they'll look a lot better in week 3. But I feel like when you don't play the preseason, it almost feels like the first couple games are just that, the preseason. And the Ravens didn't play starters really at all.
Now, I'm really surprised that they 0-2, but the fact that we pulled the joints. Now, first of all, everybody know that I wanted Justin Fields to stay on the team, right? That's a given, right? It was just unnecessary to do, right?
And he's playing pretty well in Pittsburgh right now.
Don't do that.
No, I'm just saying. I was just throwing it out there so y'all know. They might not know out there. They might not know.
It's not good. The fact that you pulled the plug on him and started over means you telling me the guy you picking is least on his floor is Justin Fields. You feel me? Where we're not going backwards. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Well, obviously to me, like I'm not no quarterback motherfucker guru or whatever the fuck, right? I don't really get into people when they're in drafts. But once you play this game, I know what I see. You know what I'm saying, dog? Mm-hmm. And when I was hearing the motherfucking generational talent and all that, I'm missing that. I'm really not seeing that at all. And I don't think anybody watching him can still say he a generational talent, right? Now, to me, he on my team now. So I need him to play better than what he's doing, right? 55% passing in both games is crazy. 2 interceptions last game, no touchdowns. Like, that's not gonna work. So I'm not gonna sit there and be like, all right, you got rid of Justin Fields, so look at him, he fucking up. Now I ain't gonna do that because that's still my quarterback in the end. They just made a bad decision. Now I really think in the end he could be better than what he's been showing. But generational talent, that's never gonna happen there. That's not there. That's not him.
So I mean, what do you think? What do you think of him so far? Like, from what you've seen, do you see anything that makes you feel like, okay, I see where they was thinking, but it might just not be there yet, or you feel like they was completely off right so far in the season? I know it's early.
All right, from 2 games I've seen, I'm thinking I see what they saw with him, right? I see what they was thinking. Because in the pocket, he got real pocket presence for a rookie. He know how to move in the pocket. So that's good. I see what they seen. But in the end, playing quarterback is a lot, bro. You getting hit. It's a mental game, bro, when it comes to quarterback. And some of those situations that he was in, like Thursday night, I just can't see it getting better. You feel me? It ain't gonna get nothing but colder in Chicago. And those hits he was taking in that game, it was hot. It was in the dome. Imagine it was cold out that bitch. So I'm just thinking, to me, even if he on my team, if he's gonna make it look like we're not going to playoffs because of him, you have to sit him down, bro. You feel me? But if not, if he can switch on the light and just start playing a little better, just better enough so we can win, because the defense gonna keep us in the game. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you've seen his lights out defense or not, but they're gonna keep us in the game. And if you would just don't turn the ball over and just move the ball, run, whatever the fuck. But when you start trying to extra like he did, like he had a 19-yard sack, bro. I've been watching football since I don't know, and I'm like, I've never even seen a quarterback take a 20-yard sack.
Yeah, and that's, I think too, when it comes down to that, I think that's youth. I think that's stuff you learn as you continue to play, because in college he's getting away with that, right? Like, full disclosure, in college he's getting away with that. In the NFL, everybody's fast. I mean, shoot, the darn defensive tackles, as big as they are just as fast as you are on a lot of occasions. Unless you are like Lamar or something like that, where but still, even guys catch Lamar, and he's one of the faster quarterbacks. Kyler Murray, one of the guys like that. Justin Fields, to go back to that point.
Hell yeah. And then the fact that DJ, I don't know if you've seen the Thursday night game when DJ Moore was on the sidelines pouting and shit, but it's a lot into that. He got real close with Justin Fields, started breaking records, his own records. Him and Justin Fields breaking records together. So in his mind, Justin Fields leaving was just not something that's going to ever happen. You feel me? He thinking, okay, we're going to go into this next season, build on that, and keep on going. You feel me? And once you change it, and we go on the field, and it's not happening the way it was when he was last year, you feel me? It's going to feel frustrating because, man, come on, man. It was something going on. We had something clicking. Now you got him here and passes going on my head and all types of shit. I'm like, fuck. It get frustration because you knew you had something already. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I told you in the beginning that this right here is going to have a problem in the locker room in the end if he don't come out on fire. You feel me? One, you're going to have all the players that's left that want to just Fields here going to start getting mad, bro. From the tight end that ain't getting no catch in 2 games. He had 70 catches last year with Justin Fields. You feel me? DJ Moore broke records. His career high last year with Justin Fields. He is not getting nowhere near none of that this year. Now you see what I'm saying? So it's going to be frustrating because he looking in the future like, damn. I'm not
another thing too, like from what I'm seeing, just looking at the stats, and I'll pull them up for y'all out there watching as well, so y'all can see what I'm talking about. But why is Caleb Williams the leading rusher? That's another thing that I'm curious about, because y'all went and paid big money to number 2 down here, DeAndre Swift. And I can't have my cookies. Look, y'all went and paid big money to DeAndre Swift, but is he helping? As of right now, as of the 2 games we've seen, is he helping Caleb make things easier for Caleb Williams? Because I'll tell you one thing that's happening, here where I am in Carolina too, is the run game ain't helping the quarterback out. So what do you think about that? Like, because I mean, of course, we've seen the Bears have some really good running backs in the past.
I'm sure exactly what his problem is, to be honest with you. You just seen the 2 games, right? Where he got in his mind this fixed thing of quarterback being this guy to be like Tom Brady, hey, you, and Aaron Rodgers, right? They control things, and you know what I'm saying? Be like this, hey, you, da 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 da. So in his mind, he think that's the thing to look like you doing, right? So when he in these games, it's always trying to be this extra doing shit, and I think he doing too much, bro. You know what I'm saying? He not being relaxed. He trying to do something where he think, all right, I grew up watching Brady. This is what he do. Aaron Rodgers. This is what they. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when I watch the games, it's like he trying to do all that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I don't know, man. And I think some of them joints, man, them sacks, man, he's getting crushed, bro. But our defense, bro, would not keep going like this if that's the problem, the quarterback. You feel me? Because the defense felt like they ain't need to change the quarterback either. So that's where you're gonna have a lot of issues if this motherfucker keep this up. If you keep going and it look like you can't even make the playoffs because of him, man, come on. You know, there's nobody in that locker room will be happy, bro.
Yeah, I feel you. What I mean, what do you feel like they can do to? I mean, what do you feel like the biggest problem is, and how can they fix it? Like, you know, is it a simple fix, or is it just kind of one of those things where he is a rookie, it's going to take time, and you know, because I know for you at least, you know, you've been one of those people that's like, I don't have, you know, I ain't got the time to wait. Okay, you know, like we was already there, we might as well keep it going along. And you know, once again, to go back to where I am now, like I think Carolina fans thought the same thing. Right, you want to get away from the playoffs. You want to just keep building on that, and you know we saw what it turned into. Now, I'm not wishing anything on you in terms of what happened here, but
team like these two games, you have no other choice but to sit them down because it's other players on the team, bro, and they all feel like they should be in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But who you go to after that, that's the problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That would be an issue. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Back to Carolina for a minute. It's almost the same issue, right? My thing is, how long is too long and how short is too short when you talk about drafting quarterbacks in the first round?
Yeah.
Because let's say he got that year, but they changed the coaches and everything this year.
Yeah.
And gave him 2 games. Was he that bad?
He was bad. He was bad. Now, was he the only problem? No.
What like this? Is the team going to playoffs and he the one holding them back?
I mean, he might be helping the whole, like in terms of like right now, he might be helping and might be a part of what's holding them back, but I don't think it gets any better with just any other quarterback, if that makes sense. I mean, you'd have to have like for this team to go further than what they did last year and to even like make the playoffs or something like that, you'd have to have somebody special. You'd have to have Lamar or Mahomes, and I always say Lamar or Josh Allen or somebody like that because you'd have to have somebody who can kind of put the team on their back a little bit, and make some plays outside of what the offensive line looks like, make some plays outside of what the weapons look like. You know, maybe even, you know, Justin Fields maybe would have been, you know, I think the weapons wouldn't have been good, but in terms of his ability to move, you know, he would have been able to create some big plays just off of that alone. I think with Bryce, I think he's playing a little scared, you know, to be honest.
He played every game last year?
He every game except one. He was out for ankle injury, ironically enough, in week 3 last year. So
think about it, they gave him the whole year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and this 2 games, that may be more than enough to see.
I mean, I think it's hard though, because last year you looking at a guy who comes in like, I don't want to say the rookie year don't really matter, but the rookie year is tough because it's your first look at NFL speed, and if you don't have if you are the number 1 overall pick, for example, where Bryce was, I mean, you don't have the weapons everybody else got. You know, you're not being drafted 32nd. You're not being drafted in the middle of the round. You're not being drafted in the 2nd and 3rd and 4th round. You being drafted to, hypothetically speaking, the worst team in the league.
So you think it was wrong to stop the benching?
Well, and also I want to say too, because of what they gave the Bears to get the number 1 overall pick, you deconstructed your team. Think about how many players and potential players they missed out on because of how the Bears just fleeced them. Y'all's GM, he did a good job. He made the deal, right?
If you draft this person, right, you gave up all of that, and now you're doing bench him. That means you just everything for nothing.
I think, yeah, and I think that's my problem. Because that's like this might be worse than like RG3 levels of that you remember that trade. Like the trade for RG3 was crazy. Now RG3 won Rookie of the Year. RG3 took it to the playoffs a little bit. You didn't give up on RG3 too early, even though I think you did after the injuries and everything. But in terms of the first couple years, like you let RG3 do his thing. But I personally don't think that even 2 years is enough. I think after 2 years, I think you can really assess who a player is. But I'm not a big proponent of dead money. I'm not a big proponent of paying a guy and then not giving him the ball or throwing him the ball or having him take the snaps or whatever it is. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna lose the money anyway. Are the Panthers in Super Bowl position? Like
that's my point.
We can talk about the playoffs all we want to and making the playoffs and making the fan base feel good, but are the Panthers in a position to win a Super Bowl anyway? No. So why don't you? Like my thing is, why don't you let your guy, like if you see there's a problem, cool, like address that in practice, address that in the film room. Literally, this is what these people do, right? This is their job. Like you cut hair, I do web stuff at a TV station. Like this is like they play football, right? They watch film, they figure out what's going on, what's going wrong, blah blah blah, and the coaches do the same thing on a different level. So my thing is, if you need to take him out for a couple games so you can sit with him and let him watch film for a little bit and just like take some of that pressure off of him, cool. But if I'm the head coach, I'm saying, Bryce is my guy. He just, he needs a second. And maybe you don't, and you don't have to emasculate the guy and say like, well, he's scared. Because obviously everybody sees that. But you can just say, you can say as a coach, and I'm talking about as a coach, because as fans, we're going to say whatever, right? As media people, we're going to say whatever. But as a coach, you say, this is my guy. We're going to sit down, we're going to figure out what's going on, and we're going to get better. Because when you look at just the highlights, I've looked at the tape too, but even just the highlights, even his best of his best throws last year, he moves a lot. He's on the run, but his shoulders are square. This year, it's almost like he's trying to use pure arm talent to make every throw. He doesn't square up at all. Like I'm all for the off-platform throws because that's what he does. But you got to at least square your shoulders up. It's like it's like a baseball player. It's like a shortstop. You can make that. You might be one of those guys that can make those throws, but you got to at least square yourself up. And that's another thing that I feel like is missing from his game is he didn't square himself up. And he's running before he even thinks about what the protection looks like. He's getting out of the pocket before he even thinks about what the protection looks like because he was sacked a league high 62 times last year. You hitting the ground 62 times as a rookie, boy, you think about making some lifestyle changes. You wondering if football is even for you anymore. And I think like that's other issues. Like, do I trust the guys that's in front of me after being hit 62 times last year? I don't know. Even if you retool it and they did, it's still gonna take me a little bit of game speed to learn that these guys got me. And another issue is the Panthers did not, kind of similar to the Ravens, but it's a little bit different because you're talking about a 2-15 team. You're talking about versus a team that made the AFC Championship game last year. The Panthers didn't play but one series in the preseason for Bryce Young. And for a 2-15 team, you out of rhythm. You got new weapons, right? You got 2 new guys in the wide receiver room. You got pretty much a whole new offensive line, it feels like. I think in the same way, 3 of the 5 guys are new. So they got to find their cohesion too.
They did the same thing with Caleb.
Yeah.
Same shit. You know what I'm saying? Just throwing.
Like I get you don't want to get guys hurt, but
I understand you want to start a rookie, but I just don't see him being it. It's just me, bro. You know what I'm saying? But like anybody watching right now, we gonna come on more and more. You know what I'm saying? As the season go on, you know what I'm saying? You can see more of us. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? Little short bites here and there, like this one tonight. You know what I'm saying? We want to step in and talk to y'all and step out, but we just want to get the temperature of the room of where our team's at right now, so y'all can feel where we feeling right now. You know what I'm saying? And that's where we at right now. So it will be more content from us. You know what I'm saying? As the season going on.
And I told Rabbit too. I said, you know, just to peek y'all into my life a little bit. Like once this wedding is over, you know, I'm getting married in a couple weeks. So once this wedding is over, I'm gonna have a little more time. I don't have the time right now, all right. Yeah. But once the wedding's over, you know, hopefully I'll have just a little bit.
Yeah, no. Gotta do what you gotta do though. Yeah, but appreciate everybody tuning in tonight for sure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely was a lot of fun. Be sure to if you're on my channel over here at the Be More Show, be sure to check my boy Rabbit Jones out, the Third Perspective podcast. I mean, they talk about all kinds of stuff. I'm sure I ain't gonna bring up the name. All right, I ain't gonna bring up the name, but I'm sure it was talked about this week.
We here.
I'm sure.
Good.
On that show over there, I'm sure they talked about it.
This was damn sure.
Sure they talked about it. There was no. Never mind. All right, let me get out of here. I say something.
I appreciate you though. I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight for the show. The best.
Yep. All right, y'all. We'll see you guys on the next episode of the Flock Down Perspective. I know I got to change the intro. I know I didn't change the whole darn show and all that. I will. I got y'all. I'm doing it soon. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace, y'all. All right, welcome into
the Bears Ravens podcast. You know,
Flock Nation Speaks
T3P podcast. All the Bears fans know me.
Your Baltimore Ravens,
the Bears
podcast, where we talk about the best team in NFL history.
The Bears.
If you're a Ravens fan, of course.
Passionate Ravens, passionate Bears. You know what I'm saying now?